Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're going to talk about something that makes me happy because it's something awesome with no baggage whatsoever. It is a great fantasy novel, The Sword of Shannara, The Sword of Shannara. And I am once again joined from a relatively undisclosed location by the Princess Rennie herself.
Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Steve. Very glad to be back. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, doing well. The world sucks, but of course, yeah. But yeah, it's the world that sucks. I'm doing very well. Well, for breakfast I had a one of those things that you can get from a certain restaurant where it's got berries and
Ooh.
yeah, all sorts of. It's one of those superfood kind of things with peanut butter. It was really good, so that made me a little bit happy.
That
Peanut
sounds
butter
yummy.
and jelly sandwich.
Well, no, peanut butter. There's peanut butter with toast, and then there's berries. It's like a parfait kind of thing.
Well, you have to go to a restaurant to get a toast with peanut butter. All you need is a jar and a loaf.
It's not the same.
Mm.
It's well, you're right. I could have made it myself, but they do it really, really well at this place.
Mm.
What can I say? In a blueberry muffin. I mean, come on, you can't just make it. Well, I guess wait, never mind. You can make a blueberry muffin. Never mind. I digress. We digress. All the way from the north, all the way from the north, from the future, and apparently from a very a future that doesn't agree with getting a nice little parfait with homemade peanut butter. It is the one, the only Stieg Fireforge.
Hi,
Hi, how's the future?
it's pissing down outside, and
No.
people are more annoying than ever. So I have thoughts of murder and stuff, and that makes me happy.
Oh, okay.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, on that happy note, we see, of course, Rennie welcoming everyone. Matt G brought the bacon. Thank you. I did not get bacon, though. I did not get bacon. Jacob Ironside, good morning. Good morning. Sort of poopus. Hello, humans and other critters. Yes. How is it out on that iceberg? Yo, says Matt G. Let's see. Who else said, oh, I'm here. Um,
Well, I'm glad
yeah,
you're here, Teresa.
yay! I'm glad I'm here as well. Snorta Poopus says, "Is there such a thing as a peanut butter fish to go with a jellyfish?"
Bleh. I hope
Mm,
not.
yeah, I was gonna say I've never been that pregnant. But okay. Um, well, I've actually never been pregnant, but you know what I mean. It's a metaphor or something. Hello, Snorta Poopus says Steak is looking horny today. Oh, I got it. Okay. At first, I was
Yeah,
like,
it's the helmets. I don't get horny from books.
I know. At first, I was like,
Oh
"What the
dear.
actual f?" Rolling chairs. Hello, good vibes. Well, thank you for bringing good vibes. I actually need some good vibes. Yeah, because the planet. Hello, Keck44. Howdy. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for people that are lurking, and thank you for those who are going to be listening in on the replay. Um, Oh my goodness gracious. Sorry about that. My phone started going crazy. We have another animal in the house. We have woof 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 arf arf from Hound 30 for 3000. Need some hugs to Miss Muses Rennie Steeg with a question mark and everyone.
Uh,
I don't know if you're
hel- Hello.
yeah, he's questionable today. Oh yeah, because you're Fireforge. And
Yeah, I
they're
got
giving
tired
you
of the Kenobi thing.
oh,
Kenobi's ruined. Disney destroyed him.
Yeah.
hmm. Well, okay. Well, I like your dwarf thing because dwarf. Hound 3000 needs some hugs. Hello, pet nooses and nose bops. Yeah, we love our animals here at Miss Smart Muses. We do. I have a sleeping cat near me. My other cat, the vocal one, I don't know where she is. She maybe I
Perhaps
don't
she
know.
ran off.
That'd be your dream, wouldn't it?
She'll come up when you least expect it and scare the living crap out of you, you know, because
Yeah.
Athena does that to me sometimes. Be like, where'd she go? And then all of a sudden, oh, hello.
Yeah. As we say, hello there.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Gosh. Oh, they're throwing salmons. Okay. I love this chat. This is the best chat ever. Uh, you guys are great, and you are always the fifth guest, or today the fourth guest. You all are great, and we couldn't do it without you. We're going to start today with chapter 19, but before we get going, I always like to ask any general thoughts, like Rennie, that as you were reading through these three chapters.
Yeah. I didn't find these as fun as the previous three personally.
Hmm.
Um, but it was quite interesting to kind of get to know a couple of characters a little bit better, or little fiends, I guess we could call them. Well, they're not little because one's a rock troll, but like, so learning a little bit more in depth about them was kind of fun. But I'm just like, there was one chapter where you're like, are you kidding? Did that really happen, or could it have been that easy? um you know what I mean? And I know we'll cover it in a little bit. I don't want to spoil it for the audience just yet, but yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, they were right there. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I did enjoy it. It's just I feel like some of it kind of lagged right before the excitement, but still fun and exciting stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't believe it too. It's going to be at the end of this chapter 19 that we're going to start with, or is it in chapter 19? I believe, or the other one. Never mind. Screw the number. It's something that happens.
Yeah,
Steve,
I think
overall,
it was 20. I think it was 20
yeah, it was 20. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah,
because there
because
was a cliffhanger thing for two of the characters. So
yes,
there was a cliffhanger in 20 and one in 21.
correct. Wow, I really couldn't believe it too. I can't wait to talk about it. Stig, any other overall thoughts before we get going?
No, I guess even though these chapters weren't as exciting as the previous ones, these chapters set up future excitement.
Hmm. Yeah, I felt like it was a turning point. It's mapping out a lot of things, a lot of things. Well, let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it. We're gonna go to chapter 19. Um, let's see, and this begins with the three of them. You have Creel and Kelset and Shay. Uh, they're moseying along, and then they get attacked by a skull thing, right? Is that first? I'm looking
yeah,
here. Yeah, and the revelation there is the skull. It recognized Keltset, and so that tells us that maybe there's a little bit more about him than we thought. Rennie, when you were reading that, what did you think?
yeah. I thought because this is when we start to learn more about him and Panamon. And my my thought process is either he used to work for the enemy, or maybe he was held prisoner, or captive for a bit and maybe tortured, and they got some information out of him, but somehow he does know the enemy, and they definitely do know him. So
Hmm.
quite
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, Steve.
Uh, well, what she said.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting how they turned it on their heads, because I thought that we knew everything we really needed to know about their backgrounds, and then they were actually like, Creel's like, well, not really. um, yeah, and then out of the frying pan and into the fire, they come across this big old battle that had happened. and and then when they looked at the insignia, it was the one of Evertine. And they're like, what did he say? We've got some real trouble here. If anything has happened to the Elven King, it could start a war of unbelievable proportions, and the whole country will go up in smoke. And then Eventine, exclaimed Shay fearfully. He was guarding the northern borders of Palinor in case. And then he kind of caught himself. And then the himself, Creel, he picks him up, snatched him, and he's like, don't try to be clever. Now your time for fooling around is done. Out with it. Out with it. And but Shay would never know what his response would have been as he hung in midair, struggling violently. A huge black shadow suddenly fell over them and then passed. Oh wait, then that's when it happens. Yeah, with the thing. And he says, "Where is the sword, mortal?" So
Yeah. And the Skullbearer recognizes the troll. He speaks to him.
Well, I think it's cool how he says something to the effect where he thinks that, because remember they thought that Flick was actually the heir of Shannara. So he thinks that they bested or that they killed Flick, and that, somehow the sword made it over with these guys. And he's like, well, where is it? It's like, well, you don't even know where it is. You work for the Dark Wizard or the Dark Warlock. So what's up with that? So I thought that was kind of interesting,
But yeah, and he also senses the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like
Hint, hint.
Yeah, I know.
Like the One Ring.
La, da, 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 da.
They even called him a wraith in this chapter, which was quite interesting.
Well, he senses the magic though, because they said the Skullbearers would sense the use of the elf stones too.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Oh yeah. So
And
yeah.
there's magic in the sword.
Yeah. And when we have an elf in the house, Lady Toriel, a dwarf, a princess, and a rose. Fantasy at its height. Good morning. Yes. And
You need to find like a, like an avatar with some kind of female knight with a rose crest or something.
oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Everybody Google. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Knights of the Rose in the Dragonlance.
Oh, yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah, there we go. That'll be my face reveal. Lady Hald's 3000 says the dwarf presented the princess with a rose, a good fantasy, woof woof kisses, and nose bops. Yeah. Jacob says, have you all read my the part where my artwork takes place? I can't remember what chapter that was. I can't remember either. I think it was.
Oh, that was early on. No, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wasn't it this?
It might be. Let me see if I can grab it. Yeah. Where are you? Let me see. It is. Well, for frack's sake. Here it is. Oh, yes, I believe it is this chapter. Yes, I'll try to bring it up. Because I want to make sure I do the link where I don't dox the whole planet. I'm still a bit of a boomer on it. Yes, chapter 19. Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because you are depicting the scene that comes right with this. That while the wraith is attacking them, the Shay keeps yelling, "The stones! Give me the stones! I can help!" And the other dude's like, "No trick! Shut up, man!" He's like, "No, give me the stones, dude!" And finally, he does give him the stones, and it's really badass. It's like the blinding blue glow spread outward just as the creature turned. Too late, the skullbearer saw the heir to Shannara bring the power of the elf stones to life, and it just totally obliterated it. The light struck the immobile skull creature with a sharp crackle, holding him fast, draining the dark spirit from the mortal shell as the creature writhed in agony and screamed its loathing. And then it just went to dust. A pile of black ashes remained. And then for long seconds, no one moves, still stunned. And they're all just sitting there going, holy shit. And then Panamon had the nerve to say, "Why didn't you tell me the truth from the start?" And he's like, "I told you the truth from the start." So I thought that part was really badass. I was gonna say, Stieg, when he actually, well, two things I think happened in that. You know, we got to also see how badass it was, but it also finally convinced the other guys.
Yeah,
Of what?
and you could see that Kelset would have a chance against the Skullbearer, kind of.
Mhm.
You know, he'd hold his own. At least Panamon Creel would not stand a chance.
No.
No.
He gets knocked over pretty damn fast. But yeah, the Elfstones are they're powerful shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how awesome would that be? Like, if somebody pisses you off, you break out the elf stones. Up, now you're ashes. How about them apples?
Yep.
Oh, you gave me some thoughts, Rennie. I can
Just saying.
Yeah. Whenever there's a tempest in me, yeah, that would that would be something. Okay, I'm working right here to bring up the picture here, but yeah, I mean, I was really struck by this part. It was badass. I think it really, really was, and I just loved the banter between them all.
Oh, just you wait until the later books. There's
Oh,
badass stuff happening.
nice. Well, and that's what's exciting here is that we know that there is more coming. There is more coming of it, and then right after that, they see. I'm still trying to bring up this picture. um,
I think you should just put it in the MS Paint or whatever it is.
yeah. Well, here's the problem: is I can't get MS Paint. I use Mac. So I tried it, and it's like the Bastardos wouldn't let me do it. So I need to figure out another one. If anyone in the chat knows anything to do with paint, etc., go ahead and let me know, because that'd be cool. Let's see. What does the chat say here? Saying some people saying hello, dust to dust. And then yes, BC, aka the New Dark Shadow. We've got pumpkins. 44 days till Halloween. Yes, and plenty of time to watch all of your Halloween movies. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I'm going to try to bring that up. Unless you want to tweet it out again, Jacob, I think that'd be easier for you to find to bring up on Twitter. It's up to you, because it is a really cool piece of art, and I do enjoy it. But right after that, after they decide to sort some things out, and as we said, we realize that there is more to what they know about Kelset and Panamon, and I don't know. But they also came to a point where they decided, okay, that they were going to have to start trusting each other. They're like, we cannot be good friends as long as we are hiding things. So.
Also, Shay is now their number one defense due to the Elfstones.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're actually dependent upon him for survival if they get into trouble.
Well, as far as spiritual creatures go, because I think it said something like the elf stones don't affect mortals.
Yeah.
So. But I did think it was interesting that Panamon said something like, well, we can't, be friends if we can't trust each other. It's like, was that your true intention the whole time? Because it seemed like you were being a little bit shady with Shay for a little bit. So I found that kind of interesting. But Also, Shay calls him out and says, "Well, but you weren't really honest with me, were you?" And I like
No.
that.
Yeah. I think the attack by that skull thing was what made them realize, okay, shit's just really gotten real now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Panamon Creel is an excellent character, I think.
Hmm.
Actually, most of the characters in this book are really good.
Yeah. And there's layers to him, and what was it? And then Panamon, he also had a little bit of pride because he was hurt. Um, let's see if I'm
Also,
correct.
Flick could have easily been turned into like a comedic sidekick for Shay,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
but that did not happen.
No, no, and that it makes me like them, and it makes me want to learn more. I guess I just keep saying that, but that's the mark of a good author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, and to move forward here, after they're all sorted all of that out, and then they say, "Get your stones ready in case we need them." He thought it might be because they heard something. He thought it might be a second skull bearer, and Shay said, "What are we going to do? Get him before he gets us? Whatever choice do we have?" And then Kelset makes the move because they heard, the big old noise in the bushes. With a large lung, he whirled about, leaped into the center of the brush, and was lost from view. So there is the first cliffhanger.
Uh, Jacob Ironside sent me the artwork, but that doesn't help. You need to tweet it out because I can't share my DMs
Yeah,
on on a live stream because it'll show all the other DMs.
yeah. And even if it's not like showing anything sensitive, it's just a courtesy. Because you know,
It's a
sim-
great piece of artwork, though.
yeah, I've been
Shit.
trying to bring it up on Twitter, but there's a lot of artwork there. But I got to figure out, maybe there's a Google version or a Mac version of Paint where I can do that. Um, I don't know. I guess deep down, I'm still a little bit of a boomer when it comes to StreamYards. Let's see. Everyone's waving to Timon Flip. Hello. And then we've got coffee here from Matt G. Always good to see them. Okay, well, as we're finishing up this chapter with the cliffhanger with Kelset basically jumping into the bushes, and we don't know what's going to be happening, as the thing in Rennie, is there anything you'd like to say before we move on?
Yeah, I just found it to be quite an interesting turn of events where, you have these three people who are like, I guess they're aligned originally or in a very uneasy alliance, and then they have some crazy stuff happen, and then there actually starts to become an actual camaraderie between the three. So I thought that was kind of a cool spin to it.
Okay. And say, Seek?
That was the same as what Rennie said.
Yeah.
It adds a little bit of a mystery to Keltset as well,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
given that the Skullbearer knew about him.
Yeah. Yep. I loved it. Okay, and of course we didn't know what was going to be coming out of the bushes. I have something to say about that. All right, let's go ahead and let's move to chapter 19. Chapter 19, we have no, sorry, chapter 20. We just finished chapter 19. It is uh
Jacob Ironside has shared the thing.
oh,
I'll send the link for that, and then you can share it, right? I think.
I believe so. Okay. Well, as we're getting ready into chapter 20. I like I said, I recognized him. Let me see. Here is the link. Can I do this without ruining my life? Let me see. Let me put that down. Put it up. I believe messages down. Okay, we can do this. Sharing. Yeah, sorry about this. I'll be a better girl about figuring out something to do with this stupid Mac. It's so good for many other things that I have to do. Here it is. Yay! So that is what we just saw. The elf stones being held up to the skull thing, and skull bearer, and it took him out right before he gets taken to dust. I like the movement, that you see in his.
The cloak is really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the skulking figure and the we see the battle, some of those evidence of the battle with the swords all around and the banner, and that's just pretty cool.
Yep, excellent.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. So there you go. Yeah, that's Jacob Ironside's stuff. Give him a follow on Twitter. He does some really cool, fun things. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing it now as we move on to chapter 20. And what do we find? What do we find? What do we find precious? We find a gnome. We find a gnome who
Yeah, they found him in no man's land.
And
You know what he eats, right?
No, Steve, what does he eat?
No made meals.
I was like, it's got to be something easy.
Well, and then the gnome is they're holding him up, and they saw that he has been disarmed, and he's like, let me go, curse you, you have no right, I have done nothing, I'm not even armed, let me go. And he's like, please, and I will go away and say nothing to anyone. And then he says, was it I think Paranon says, Tim Penimum, I can see no reason for permitting you to live, let alone go free, gnome. And he's like, don't kill me. I can tell you about the sword of Shannara. I can even get it for you. And then, and he's like, yes, precious, I can tell you. Rennie, were you seeing the same connection I was?
Yeah, I kind of was. It's just like, if you let me go, I'll lead you to what you're looking for. And how does he know that? Because Shay's the only one that was looking for it. The other two didn't really know. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. And he also lies about his identity and gets called out on that too. I thought that was pretty interesting. That Panamon was pretty sharp-witted on that. So
yeah, it's like, yeah, don't even try it. Yeah. And of course, looking at it again, I'm like, it's so obvious what's going to be the part at the end. It's like,
right?
Because everything is saying like, wait, how does he know? Hey, why are they feeling like it's near? And Panamon's like, you're a deserter, as you said, don't do that. I mean, Steve, when you saw this again, I was gonna say that the connections here toward what this gnome's role is.
Yeah, it's Gollum-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the way that they're kind of treating him kind of bad and stuff. And Panama, I think at this point still isn't maybe sure about this whole sword thing. And he's like, "Well, what's so special about this sword? Can I sell it for gold and all that?" And he says, "I can get it." He says, "Don't you realize what the sword of Shannara is to the Dark Lord?" And then what did they decide? Put a rope around his worthless neck and bring him along. Kel said, "Shay, if you can give me a hand up, an arm to lean on, I think I can make it to the woods." Ah. So, yeah. I'm trying to think here. Sort of Poopa says, "Be it ever so humble, there is no race like gnome." I know I see what you did there.
That was cute. That was cute.
Yeah. See, be it ever so humble, there's no race like gnome. There we go. You will be sung to here in Miss Martin Muses. Kill it. Wait, kill it. Burn it with L stones, precious. Yeah. All right. So now that they've got Gollum, and and then this is where they Shay really specifically goes after him about what the truth is about Kelset. And Panem says maybe it was the truth. Maybe those things did happen to him. I don't know. It always seemed to me something of the sort must have happened to him to make him take up with someone like myself. I don't know what he is, but he is my friend. He is that. I didn't lie to you. It's like, well, then where did he come from? I found him north of here about 2 months ago, battered, beaten, just barely alive. And he said, I guess his name's from his word side. Too bad he's not really a thief. Now, Steve, you know what's going to be going on with that, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, but my memory is fuzzy. It's been I've read too many books since the last time I read this, so
Okay.
in retaining information is getting tricky.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I was just curious, so that there is a mystery here that we are going to know. Well, and also Terry Brooks doesn't introduce something without giving us for no reason. He doesn't waste words.
Yeah, there's a payoff with that character.
Yay. And Sort of Poopa says, the sword, it slices, it dices, it even makes Julian fries. All right. And then I made a really big note in my book, and Steve, you would be very, very triggered. I wrote it into the side in a big capital letter with friendship. Shay kind of does a bit of a reflection. He said, the only, he says, friendship remained a prized commodity, even for a thief, and it was something that would not be tossed aside lightly. Even Shay was beginning to feel a strange sort of friendship for the flamboyant Panama Creole, a friendship that was improbable because their characters and their values were complete opposites. But each had an understanding of what the other felt, though not why he felt it, and there was an experience of the battle shared against a common enemy. Perhaps that was all that anyone ever needed as a basis for friendship. I was like, dang, where did that come from? But it was good. I don't know. I was moved by that.
Yeah, it got a little deep there for a second. So that was interesting.
Yeah, like why people become friends, and especially economy, just a shared experience. I don't know. I like that a lot. The whole thing is that people come and go, but friends, they're forever, and how quickly you can become friends.
Exactly. They had that previous experience with the skull bearer, and then, they decide that, maybe there's more to everyone than meets the eye. So they start building in camaraderie. And then this chapter, it becomes a little bit closer, and, you feel like there's actual genuine feelings of friendship versus like, just humoring each other. Like, I'll just get you to this point and just dump you off kind of thing. So that's nice.
Yeah. I don't know, Steve, I know you have no heart, but if you did have a heart, were you were you moved by this, or did you I
No,
don't no, I know.
I just take all my friends for granted.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, it struck me, and also struck within the narration of the story. So, because I was starting to feel this anyways. Oh no, Brian, that is not the case. Stieg's dwarf avatar. I mean, he loves Rings of Power.
Yeah, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
This is a different dwarf.
From that's
Dragonlance.
yeah. I was gonna say it's supposed to be.
It's Flint.
I know, and I have feelings about that. I almost called him Flick because of Flint. You see, that's the thing when you read different fantasies. You got Flint and Flick. Flick is a great, great character. And okay, but
And so is Flint.
yeah, so is Flint as well. Damn it, they all have the same. It's not like Tolkien though. I mean, at least these are different names in different books. And in Tolkien,
Yeah, well, if it had been Tolkien, they would have had 5 names, wouldn't they?
yes. Oh gosh, the elf name, the dwarf name, the nickname, the
The new name it took after he got emo.
yeah. Exactly. Damn it, Steve. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, Dragonlance is a great book series. Yes, and I am reading those as well. Steve and I were on RevKev's channel. If you are not familiar with RevKev, we did a stream on that. He really knows his Dragonlance. Okay, so then Shay went ahead and told him everything. Just laid it out, and he goes, I believe you because I fought that black winged monster on the Plainlands, and because I've seen the strange power you have over the Elfstones. But this business about the sword and your being the lost heir of Shannara, I don't know. Do you believe it yourself? And he said, I didn't at first, but now I don't know what to think. I know I have to rejoin Alanon and the others. They may even have the sword by this time. And then Gollum goes, Ulfane, that's the name of the gnome. Oh no, they don't have the sword. No, precious. I know, I don't know how good my Gollum is.
I love it.
So in any case, and so then Stig, you would have enjoyed this. Then they gagged him once more, so that was a way to shut him up.
Yeah, if someone gets annoying, gag them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good life advice.
I don't know if it's legal all the time, but Ulster in
If they're gagged, they can't tell the police.
Well, if you don't get caught, there's no evidence. It's your word versus theirs. Just say.
Yeah. Okay, and then Steve, as Shay's thinking about all this, he goes back to Alanon, and he said, who seemed to be the only one with the answers to all the unanswered questions. Why had he not told Shay everything from the beginning? Why had he insisted? It seems to be like there's some self-awareness here from Terry Brooks.
Maybe. I think Alanon explains it later.
Yeah. But the fact that he only gave it piece by piece.
Yeah. He basically tends to give people just enough information to keep them going, as to not make them overthink.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just felt like it was a little bit of, for me, like he's acknowledging like what we're frustrated about. I think we've talked about that before. But
Well,
in any case,
it's definitely something the character would think about.
yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially something this this great this that's going to have such an impact on them all and the fate of the entire planet.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Yeah. Anyway, so they all go to bed, and then they realize that Earl Fane, that's the name of the gnome, had escaped. And they all started, they argued a bit, like, how'd he get away? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, the ropes were chewed through by teeth. Our little rodent friend was more resourceful than I imagined, or perhaps more desperate. And he didn't try to kill us. And they looked, and he had left everything behind, except they said his worthless junk. When he looked upon it, and he's like, there's something gone from this worthless junk. That old sword and the leather scabbard. And then they looked at each other, and then they realized, they were like, holy shit.
Yeah, Shay had studied one of them a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
And it had a flame symbol on the hilt.
And then they spit it out. And I was gonna say, Steve, this was just one of those. You said another nice little cliffhanger. The sword of Shannara.
Yeah, they had it. It was right there. The little bastard chewed through the rope and ran off with it.
I mean, how big of a slap in the face was that? It's just like, are you kidding me? Did that literally just happen?
Yep. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But shit like this could happen though. I mean, the guy had like a sack of swords. You
Yeah,
know?
and they thought it was just all invaluable stuff where it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just trash, crap that this dude keeps around that he thinks is valuable, but it's not, it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, the book wouldn't have been done, would it? But it would have been I don't know. It's like it would have solved everything.
Yeah.
Oh, but I like the way though he did it with just a big exclamation point. It's the sword of Shannara, and you almost heard the dun dun.
Yeah, and
Dun.
the fun part is the reader now feels the frustration that Shay's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be well, more than a shake my head. It would have been a big for fudge's sake. All they had to do. But of course it explains everything that the gnome had been why he was so desperate. But I love it that they gave him the nickname the little rat.
Yeah.
I thought that was
And
funny.
then he gnawed through the rope or whatever.
Yeah. It made off like, but it makes sense. It's like, how would he have even known? Why were they all there? Big group. We know what had happened in the previous chapters. It's very well crafted, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say much more than yes, and damn it, and I hate my life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But I like it that it also moves it forward. And before we end, I'm going to go on to chapter 21. Is there anything either of you want to say that maybe I didn't cover or we missed out on?
No, this is kind of the cliffhanger, the like, oh man moment that I was talking about at the beginning. It's like, are you kidding? The sword was right there under their noses and they didn't know it. So I think that was the big thing with this chapter, aside from, the friendship becoming more genuine and, everyone actually being friends rather than just allies. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was very frustrating. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Shay should have run up a cliff or a hill and
Mhm.
just spread his arms wide and yelled, "Rat!"
Wow.
Like, Khan.
Drago. You know,
They could have had a montage. I mean,
yeah. Khan.
Yeah. You hear that, Terry Brooks? You failed. You failed us. All right. Well, yeah. So that was a good one, and then we're gonna go back to the other gang. Let me get to chapter 21. Um, and I love the way he did it. But in a very fancy way. Michael Terry Brooks did a meanwhile. It's like the same morning that found this. Al-Anon and the remaining members of the company were embroiled of difficulties of their own, and they had to fight some gnomes. They had to get away from the druid, was it the druid's keep, and they were. Al-Anon, it says, was extremely worried about the little veil man whom he had expected to find at Druid's Keep, and there had been no mistake he had made his mental search for the youth back at the foot of Dragon's Teeth. And he's like, but Shay's a resourceful fellow. He can only hope that they would find each other. And then, but a whole bunch of gnome reinforcements started to come, and things were starting to really suck. And so then Al-Anon makes something which I thought was a little bit of a shocking statement. Stieg, he goes, well, it's time for the company to disband.
yeah, it was just like, well, that was sudden.
Yeah. I was just going to
Sorry,
say.
not Stieg.
Oh, no, that's okay. It was just his time to go first, I think. So, what do you think about
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Well, there's still the problem with the army. You know, coming south
Mm-hmm.
from the Warlock Lord, and yeah,
Yeah. So, I guess
and
Rennie. Oh, sorry.
yeah, and Balinor needs to get the armies ready in his hometown, which was, what was it, Colhaven
Mm-hmm.
or
Yes.
something? Yeah. So he and Hendel leaves for that place, and the two elves head for the Elven lands, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he lays it out for us. Yeah, I was gonna say, Rennie. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was my fault. I was shocked. I don't know.
No, I just felt like it was a little bit random and sudden. It just all, it's like, all right, well, we're not going to get anything done here. It's like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there strength in numbers? Won't you do better if you stick together? So, I thought that was quite
Well, they still need to
interesting.
warn people.
Yeah, that's true. But like, how can they fight off all the bad guys when they split up? Al-Anon's the only one out of all of them that has
Well,
really any power.
they're not gonna. It was never about fighting. It was about secrecy. It
Well,
was a
true.
covert mission.
Very true. Just, you wonder, like, okay, bad guys usually divide and conquer. So when they find out they're divided, are they going to try to, you know, split off and get each little group, one by one?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a payoff for that too.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I figure that, and as Stig, as you said earlier, they there was a strategy that he gave um, about why they needed to go and do their reinforcements, go to their own people, and the dwarves, we're going to protect like the eastern area and blah 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 and all that. And also the feeling that maybe the Dark Lord was a little bit overconfident after what had happened. But then he goes, but you and Minnie and I shall continue to search for our young friend and for the missing sword. Will have to be the first to lay hands on. Uh, Shay shall be the first to lay hands on the sword of Shannara. Perhaps he has already done so. So the three of them are going to stay together. So the fellowship is not going to be completely broken. Rennie, did you have feelings of that too, or?
Yeah, like, because at first it's just like, oh man, and then it's like, oh, okay, now that he's making sense of it. Okay, but yeah, still, just very nerve-wracking going, okay, this is all really sudden. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm okay with that. you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely understand.
Yeah. And now they're down to 3.
Exactly.
And part of the thing that's going on when I'm looking at Minion and all that, let's see. I'm looking at my notes here as they go on together, and they're tracking what's happening, and then they run across some of these things, and he says, "What? Then Shay has been here ahead of us." Oh, because they find the ashes. That's it. They come across the thing here, and Minion. I'm sorry. This is before they come across the ashes. I got my notes here. Minion felt he had only to anger the druid once more, and the unpredictable mystic would dispose of him for good. So there's still some tension between the two of them, but I think it gets resolved. And then they realized, as after they see the ashes, they say that Alanon says, "I have found a broken standard from the house of Elendil, Eventeen's personal banner. He may have been even killed." So
It wasn't House of Elendil, no.
I was
Oh,
gonna
did I
say, wait a minute.
oh, did I say Elendil?
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, Steve, because I was like, did I miss something? I don't remember that.
It was Elesadil.
That's it.
I hate my life. This is what happens when you see too much Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, all that sort of stuff. Hey, well, let's have a crossover.
Lord of the Sword.
Oh gosh, Eventine. Well, it does say for frack, Alessa deal. Oh, I hate my life. Okay, so they find the frackin' banner. Okay. Oh boy. But as they're going along, the whole idea with the three of them together. I mean, am I wrong to be thinking just keep continuing to see the parallels, like would I have seen these parallels with the Fellowship and some of the stuff in the Lord of the Rings if it weren't for the that I've been told? I don't know.
No, because for me, even if nobody had said anything, I would have been like, that's familiar, or this is very similar to this. So, I definitely would have made those comparisons myself. So, whether anybody had forewarned me or not, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure I'm not going crazy.
No, you ain't cray girl.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, or if I am crazy, it's crazy for a different reason. Okay, this is Minion concluded at least several thousand men had passed this way in a few days earlier, gnome and troll. So they're realizing that the battle, that there's more and more troops and people coming along, and I'm trying to think. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything significant at this point. I don't know if either of you found anything
Well,
in here.
there's a shadow creeping down from the north,
Mm-hmm.
dark clouds and stuff, which will allow the skull bearers to be out during the day.
Oh, I think I remember even talking about that. Yeah, so it's kind of like that vampire horror flick where it's nighttime all the time, like up in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a similar situation, though of course not the same. And then they're really fracked.
I think you mean fucked.
Oh,
She's trying to be a good girl.
My bad.
No, I've tried. I know I have failed. Why, Sieg? That too. Yeah. All right. And then eventually, after all that, Alanon says the situation is more serious than I thought. It appears the entire Northland army has bunched up at this point to strike at Kalanorn. Balinor and
Calahorn.
did I say Balahorn?
Yeah.
Calahorn.
Yeah.
Because-
It's Balinor lives in Calahorn.
Yeah, that is kind of weird though. It's
Yeah,
a little bit too similar.
Confused. Yes. Okay, so he's got a little bit of Tolkien in here, though not as bad as that. No one is worse than him on that. Okay, so Calahorn with Balinor, and the others must be warned because I had those two words close together. And then he looks at Minion. I cannot leave now. I've got to help you find Shay. And he says, we haven't the time to argue. The time has come for you to start thinking about your own people. Though part of me is interesting. It's like, oh, you figured this out now. Shay is only one run, and right now there is nothing you can do. But there is some for him. But there's something you can do for thousands of Southlanders who will face enslavement all at the hands of the Warlock Lord if Kalanorn should fall. So he goes, I will go to Calahorn and warn Balinor, but I'll be back to find you. I like that, Rennie. Yeah, it's like it just shows how much I love Minion, actually.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that it's like, man, now they're down to 2.
Yeah.
But I do like that. The more I don't know, the more for me, the more we get to know Minion, the more I like him. The more courageous and the more valiant he seems to be to me. And I'm like, wow, he really does have a good heart, and he really does have good intentions. He's not just an obnoxious, prissy little prince, And I thought it was interesting that, Alanon told him, well, pay attention to your whole kingdom. Well, Minion's more concerned about like his friends and like the fate of the world and, their conquest. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. It's like, wait, you want me to focus on just a small part of this?
And now you're gonna get Minion chapters.
Yay!
Oh, that made my day because I love that man. And various comments about the F-bomb, and it wasn't Teresa. Yeah, usually I drop the F-bomb accidentally. And Jacob Ironside, I can hear that line during Helm's Deep. We are fine. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then after Minion leaves, to us is left the task of finding out what has happened to Shay and the sword. I actually appreciated that, Alanon, because at this point I'm like, okay, what the hell? I thought we were going to be a fellowship, or with the fellowship of the sword, and then and then it's like, no, we're down to 2, and then as Rennie said, now we're down to 3. Now we're down to 2, and then Alanon goes, okay, now it's our job to find this. And then he says, some more exposition. There are those who follow Eventine, understand the danger, but there are others who believe that the elven people should stay out of the affairs of other lands unless they are directly attacked or threatened. With Eventine absent, the choice will not be so clear. The discussion of what is right and proper may delay any move by the elven army until it is too late. So I guess he's trying to say that even though they're doing all this, he said the elven people may not be coming.
Yeah, especially without their king, because their king means more to them than the fate of the earth.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, and to be fair, often we see what a king can do, especially when they're rallying people and all that. And then if the king's not there, Uh, that's why we have a representative republic or something. I don't know. But there's something to be said about having your leader. Um and then finally uh, so I guess we know that everything's not so certain, that even if they're all going to go off and try to rally, they don't know if it's going to work. And then Al-Anon goes, we need to find out what's going on in this camp that's nearby. He said, my young friend Flick, how would you like to be a gnome for a little while? So, and I guess I go, da, da, da. So, Steak, that's our third cliffhanger.
Yep. Well, second? No, third.
Nope, third. The first one
Yeah.
was jumping in the bushes. The second one's the sword of Shannara, and now he's going to be a gnome.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that Flick and Shay are like so small that they can like kind of personify the gnomes? Because the gnomes are supposed to be quite short, right?
Yeah, the gnomes are dwarf-sized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess if Flick's not
The
fully...
Flick is short and stocky, and
Yeah.
Shay isn't too tall either.
Okay. Well, and they're definitely smaller than Al-Anon.
Yeah, well, he's like 7 feet
Yeah.
tall
He's
or
like a
something.
basketball player.
Yep.
Yeah. And speaking of moments where someone would say, as Jacob says here, "Fuck,"
Christopher
poor...
Lee would have made a great Al-Anon, and or maybe Terrence Stamp,
Oh.
because the
I like
voice.
Terrence Stamp for sure. I'll always associate Christopher Lee as Sauron, so I think that would be tough to have him in another fantasy like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
he would have had to done it when he was younger.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. Well, he was good as Dracula. Yeah. I don't know. Rennie, you think Flick's gonna be a good gnome?
I think he's going to do his best, but he's very stubborn. But I feel like he also has, like, not only is he afraid of making Al-Anon mad, but I do believe has at least a little bit of respect for him now. So I think he's going to try. But I do see him doing something clumsy and messing up. So
Yeah.
that's just me. So it should be entertaining to say the least.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, is there anything in this chapter maybe that I missed, either of you, that or something that you would like to bring up?
Mm,
I feel like you
no,
hit the key points.
the cliffhangers pay off,
That's good.
which they usually do with Terry Brooks. Actually, he's very good at that.
Yeah. Okay then. I feel like a little bit disjointed because of what happened with them break, well, in one chapter the company or whatever they called it was broken up, and then it was broken up again. And
Yeah, well, their job was to get to Paranor and get the sword. That was it.
yeah.
But now they have other things that are pressing.
Okay.
So they basically completed their mission, or rather failed at it.
Mm-hmm.
But it broadened.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that completely. I just it was just one of those things. It's like, oh, this is going to be kind of scary. Okay, there's just two of them, but one of them is Al-Anon. Okay, and then Flick being kind of a clumsy oaf. I don't know how this is going to go with him being a gnome, but like I said, I think it'll have some interesting but hilarious but possibly dire consequences too. So we shall see.
Yeah.
It is nerve-wracking, though. Very nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Wouldn't it suck if he just goes in there and they go, "You're not a gnome," and just behead him?
Yeah.
And,
really
and then
suck.
you see Al-Anon watching from a hill and just go, "Goodbye, little fucker."
Yeah. Good job. You didn't even try to blend in.
Like he casts a spell on him to disguise him. Then when he's in the middle of the camp or something, he dispels it.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Oh, gee. Well, I suspect that's probably not what's going to happen, but
He lets out a huge fart, and gnomes don't fart, so they know he's not a gnome or something. You know.
yeah, hey, you got to be careful with those. Farts are very expensive. I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw that.
high gas prices, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, Rennie, that Stieg had a fart video that Mara played and it ended up getting copyright.
Really? That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it
No, I
was like
didn't know that.
a stupid little skit thing
Mm,
that told her to share at the end of the stream because we usually do that sometimes.
yeah.
We'll find a funny video to end with, and it was like a fart joke thing, and she got copyrighted.
On a fart joke?
Yeah, a
That's so
fart.
weird.
Yeah. Well, it was probably whatever company had made the skit, but I think Stieg had said that was an expensive. It's like, yeah. We went from all the serious stuff to farting. Well, but I don't think there's been any of that in here. But before we close off from the discussion of these chapters, I always like to ask both of you, um, what what you think overall, if there's anything that you want to mention as before we go forward. I'm going to start with Rennie.
I think we pretty much, hit on all the basics. So, you have the trio of, you know, different people that go from being allies to actually being friends. I thought that was kind of cool. And, again, you get to see the elf stones and in all their glory, so to speak. And yeah, now the fellowship, so to speak, or companionship is breaking up. So it's like, uh-oh, what's going to happen now? So very interesting to say the least. Quite a few turning points. One end it's like, oh, I really want to find out what happens, but it's like, oh my gosh, so much is going on. How are they going to tie this up?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't have any spoilers, but I think the way that they were talking about more that battle strategy, I think we're going to be seeing more battles and that part of it.
yeah, I would like to see that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, you have anything to say?
No, just that the cliffhangers and all that. It has a payoff, and Terry Brooks is really good at wrapping stuff up.
Yeah. Or I trust you. Yeah. Sorry here. Okay. Well, excellent. See, Liffy's God says I think James Bond when I hear Christopher Lee. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, to a certain degree, he was James Bond a little bit in World War II. Jacob says, "Did you just fart? Gnomes don't fart, imposter."
Because what movie or what show was it where something like that happened? And I think that's what made me think of it. I can't remember.
I don't know, but very very mature. We're very mature here at Miss Martin Muses. Though nothing's reached the heights or the lowness of some of the Lord of the Rings stuff we said, but it's fun, and I like talking about things we love. So this has been fun, and we sent a hound. We sent the dog off with a fart, apparently. Good night, afternoon, morning. Got to go to bed. It's calling me. Woof. Okay, good night. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate you. And being here, and everyone that's coming in and enjoying this, or maybe getting inspired to read some Terry Brooks. And if you're not inspired to read Terry Brooks through this, maybe try some Dragonlance. Maybe try some Forgotten Realms, the Dritz books. There's loads of good fantasy out there. Things that will not make you lose the will to live. We like to have the will to live here at Miss Martin Muses. And I think we are past the halfway point. Let's see, we're at page 413, and the book is 718-ish. So, yeah, we're getting there. It's been a journey, but it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else going on, I don't know. Anything any one of you want to get off your chest uh, about humanity, life, birds, cats? I don't know. Then we're going to go ahead and wrap up this party. Once again, I thank you all for being here. I thank the guests in the chat, Jacob Ironside, Hound 3000. We had Luffy is God, Keck 44, Brian McCann, Snorta Poopus, Matt G, Timon. Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anyone. Oh, we had Late Night with Cap, JT, BC, aka The New Dark Shadow, always giving us our updates on Halloween, how close we are to Halloween. Lady Toriel's been here. The Myosphere Origins has been here. And I think I got everyone. If I missed anyone, I sincerely apologize. Next week, we're going to do the next 3 chapters and find out what's going to happen to these bastards. So, have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And oh, wait, before we do, Luffy does have something to say about cats, apparently. Let's see. Cats are evil. Birds are dinosaurs. Bye all. Okay, well that was my fault for doing that. Hound 3000 says later. Jacob Ironside says Hound 3000 is leaving. Must have been the fart. All that garlic I've been eating. Oh gee whiz.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain if you're gonna share a skit about a fart, make certain that it's not copyrighted.